Just some food for thought here this morning. It might sound like I'm jumping around a little bit on this, but if you can stay with me, I think you're going to see a clearer picture. I was thinking back to the old George Floyd skit from Minneapolis, right? And he got busted for what? In the Twin Cities, right? Minneapolis. He got busted for a fake twin $T bill, right? And then what? More twin stuff, just outrageous. Like he all of a sudden had a twin basketball player, and I don't know, I don't follow sports whatsoever, but I do know that that person was identical, okay, and was in major ball. I think it was basketball, pretty sure it was. Twin, right? Nothing but that circulation and loop system of what is a trap. And now you've got this fake event with the lady getting shot through her windshield, okay? Keep that kind of stuff in mind. It's not just that she got shot. It's all these things come into play. Where at? Well, it was in the Twin Cities again, wasn't it? Minneapolis. And what is really telling about this is, you know, before they started the C-19, we had Floyd. That was like their big cannonball to light up the sky and air with that, okay? Prior to that, you had at least two other people, three if I'm remembering correctly, that they did basically the same thing, and it was a big deal. But it wasn't in the proper location as far as the Twin Cities, the Minneapolis, and the whole twin thing. So now you have a twin thing going on completely here, okay? And I believe she was white, right? And check out old George Floyd's birth date, all right? And then look at Trump's birthday. So, I haven't seen this lady's birthday again, but if you know it, leave it in the comments, and I'm sure it's very telling. Before they started the C-19, Floyd was, you know, that was the deal. What was the very first picture they put of him? He was some bouncer at a bar standing behind a poster of a big Corona bottle. They've got the black and white thing going on here, the mirror on the wall, like the completion of the mirror on the wall. Like they are going to go forward with this. And this is a pretty big event because, you know, what, 9 out of 10 people, I don't want to use numbers, but just for this particular situation I will, you know, it's way out there. It's probably more than 9 out of 10 people actually believe this horse poop. And she got hit right between the eyes and the forehead is what I've heard so far in the Twin City. Well, her twin to this is George Floyd. Then you're going to see nothing but twin stuff about it. And keep in mind, we got old Saint Nicholas, right? And have you ever seen a statue of him? He looks like Jesus Christ and Santa Claus, kind of in a mixture. So right after the old Saint Nick thing for Santa Claus, Satan and his claws, or claws, however you want to look at that, it's all there. We have had nothing but Nick events. Saint Nicholas, right? Right. Keep in mind the word saint, you can spell Satan. This is not what the average truther or believer understands. This is way worse of a situation than most people are comprehending. So, now back to this Saint Nicholas. You know, the absurd events going on right now. there's been nothing but Nicks in the headlines ever since Santa Claus came along, old Saint Nick. I mean, how often does someone like the Orange Baboon just go over to another country and kidnap the husband and wife leader and bring them over here to where? Manhattan, or says they're going to. I mean, that's so absurd and ridiculous that anyone that fell for that, please consider what I'm telling you, because if you fell for that is a doable situation in this world, you have got to sit down and recalibrate things, or you're going to be in harm's way. So now you have what? Another big event. And the lady's middle name is Nicole. Yeah, okay, there's a lot of people named Nicole. Is there? Right after Saint Nick comes along, and after the abduction of, what's his name? Nicolas Maduro. I'm not going to get into the spells, but it's very telling what they're doing, getting ready to do. And then all of a sudden you have another spell going on with this other fake event with a woman whose name is, I can't remember the two other names, her first and last name, but they're very telling. I'm just trying to point out the Nick, the Nicholas, all of that right now. And this is about a Nick Cole. Even the word Nick Cole, you know, as far as etymology and phonetic spellings, Nicole, it has a hole in it. And they made sure that everybody knew she didn't just get shot, she has a hole in her head. It's all here, and you will watch the headlines light up with Nicole's, or things about the neck, and that's what it's been about for a long time, is what I'm getting at also. Epstein Files has nothing to do with any of the things that they do behind closed doors. None of that is true, but it's all true. They put all that out there. Nobody got caught, but they do these vile things. We're all aware of this. The whole reason about it was to let everybody remember how Epstein went out with something around his neck. His necklace, whatever he tied around his neck, okay? They're putting the noose around people's necks right now. In the spiritual, and unfortunately, in geometry and the mirroring of numbers and letters, this is real. These spells and brainwashington DC things are not hocus pocus cartoons and movies to watch that are full of magic and wonder land that aren't real. These things are really happening. People are being marked and re-digitized in their brains. They're brainwashable. That's why everything leans towards the neck. It's all about the neck. Why neck? Why St. Nicholas? You know, neck equals 33, alright? But if you can understand that when people speak, and it doesn't matter if it's the word neck, it kind of sounds like Nick. There's a reason for that. An absolute truth-filled reason for that. It doesn't matter how far back you go into the archaic roots of languages. All the languages, you will find that there's a reason that things like neck and nick and all these words that sound similar to that actually go back to a meaning, an original state of root of words. Because we didn't have all these things that we have named today. It kept building up to this, but if you can understand that, okay? And why was Charlie Kirk put out there? Phonetically, the initials of words are how this is initiated. You initiate things by their initials, okay? You really do. The neck, you know, what's in there right away, even if you don't want to go down to the bare bones of the initials. Charlie Kirk's in there. He got shot in the neck, right? Charlie Kirk, all right? That's CK in the neck. 33. That just helps keep pushing and pushing this neck, because the goal here is the neck. And phonetic spellings is what this is, okay? 100%. If you look at the word neck, he got shot in his neck. Initially, phonetically, you would just have an N and a K. You try to pronounce that, just an N and a K. You can. That's a nick. Okay? Nick-nack. A nick in the neck, St. Nick, it's all there. That's why they did him before Satan Claus came around on this last time. I know it's rather deep, but it's rather not. It's kind of like, if I had to put an analogy to this, would be you looking down into a deep, vast ocean that was very clear. You could see the bottom, but you just didn't know where the ocean was located at. That's all this is. This is about the neck. Nick, it is about that. And you're going to see people in the limelight that absolutely spell this. The Nicholas, anything within there is definitely on the table and will be pushed, because humanity will increase and vibrate that out and help weave this spell into their own trap, their own spider web. Humanity is making the spider web, and the spider will come down and do its thing, if you want to think of it like that, as far as the entrapment of this. It's, unfortunately, is that deep. Do we have protection? Yes. Wisdom is protection. The Lord, our Christ, is wisdom, okay? He absolutely is. Now, do you have to know all these things at once? No, you have to be in the right field. He knows who his workers are, and it's not that you have to sit down and unravel all of these things. But the word is not topical. There is nothing in the Bible that you couldn't give to someone that has never read the Bible that could take that nourishment from it. You have to dig in. And we're told that all through the scriptures. It's not like I'm making a stretch here. You know, in fact, he made it so obvious in some places that it's clear that he loves us, you know, so much. But he's also saying, hey, you better wake up, because to read the Bible topically is no different than, what could you say that would be the closest to? It'd be like walking through a garden that was full of food that had already been harvested, and you were hungry. You were just so hungry. But all the roots were still in the ground, and you just walked by them. You got to stop and get in one place and dig in. And now is the time to be doing that, because this neck thing, this Nick, the Nicholas, and the Cage, the Nicholas Cage, watch and see where that goes. You'll know why it's Raising Arizona, Turning Point USA, United Snakes of America. In my opinion, even if people put their phones on a speaker, where's the phone at? It's right by your neck, okay? These are weapons in countless directions, but the neck is their goal here. They need you to have your daily news. Daily news, northeast, west, south. Just happen to spell news. Well, isn't that cute? What's not cute about this is everything in our language that they gave us is an absolute, clear, and perfect warning system that explicitly tells us that it's dangerous and will take us down.